Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, thank you for being here. My name is Kat and I'm the Bookish Halfling. Today is part 2 of the series of me trying to find better comp titles for my book, The Raven's Revenge. And this will be a review of the first 2 books that I've read in said search for comp titles. First off, we're going to start with my review of Mad Kestrel by Misty Massie. I picked up this one because it's an actual pirate book. The characters are actually pirates, unlike most of the other books we found. Mad Kestrel is about the main character, Kestrel, who is a quartermaster aboard a pirate ship, whose captain ends up imprisoned for a crime he did not commit, so she has to try to save him before he ends up on the gallows. Overall, it wasn't a bad read. The plot was interesting enough, the world building had potential that I presume is expanded in sequels because this is the first of a series. There wasn't really anything particularly stand out about it. The characters were decent. I didn't mind the main character, but again, there was nothing particularly special about her. That doesn't sound mean. Yeah, it was kind of just mediocre. The characters all felt like what they should. They did what they should have. They kind of fit into, at least in my mind, stereotypes that kind of already existed, and none of them really did anything to break out of that. At least no one really important. Nothing really surprised me. The climax was kind of a letdown. I didn't feel like there was any real stakes. Yeah, I did appreciate that a lot of it actually took place aboard a ship, though. That was fun, at least. But yeah, it wasn't a bad read, again, but it's not really my favorite. The writing itself, too, wasn't really my style. It kind of felt like we kept jumping from spot to spot without any real actual transition. Not drastically, but just in little ways. Yeah, and I found that a little annoying. Again, in general, it was alright. I'd say 3 out of 5 stars. Not bad, not great. But can it be used as a comp title for my book? I'd say no, unfortunately. The only real similarity, again, is the fact that they're pirates. There's nothing else particularly like my book, The Raven's Revenge. The main characters aren't alike, the plotline isn't alike, the world building isn't particularly similar, so yeah. Unfortunately, book number 1 is a no. Not a comp title for my book. Next up, we have Herald of the Storm by Richard Ford. This one is an epic fantasy. Another book 1 in a series that I have no idea how long it is because I didn't look it up. It's about a city that's gotten very corrupt. The king is out fighting a war, so kind of like a guild of thieves and murderers and criminals have kind of taken over the city. This one has a wide cast of characters, multiple of whom are criminals themselves. I'm gonna be honest, I finished it, but that meant skipping a few chapters and skimming others just because it wasn't particularly interesting. I might have read more if it wasn't a library book and I wasn't on a time limit. I might have allowed myself to be a bit more invested in some of the characters, but in general, it was too many characters were introduced too soon. A lot of them didn't really have a lot going on. Others should have had other areas felt like they should have been more expanded upon. Okay, hold on. There's a bunch of different characters, but very few of them actually interact with each other. And that was a bit disappointing. I assume more interactions happen later in the series, but again, this is only book 1. Yeah, by halfway through, the only part I was really invested in was a very minor romantic subplot. And even that, we didn't really get much of, and it was kind of brushed over. It wasn't very developed. There was a lot of telling. We were told that they talked a lot and that they told each other their life stories. We didn't see it. Yeah, we didn't see much of their relationship, which is really sad because it involved the one character I actually really liked. Yes, the one. Others were okay. Others had potential, but this book wasn't for me. There was a lot of cursing, just a lot of cursing. It was overdone. I don't mind a little bit. I can take a little bit, especially in an adult fantasy, but there was just so much, which is part of the reason why I ended up just skimming and skipping a bunch. Too much. Yeah, again, areas had potential, as so many things do, but not for me. I would rate it maybe 1.5 stars out of 5, because again, others might like it more, but this just wasn't for me. There was no real connection to my book either, so I can't call this one a comp title for The Raven's Revenge either. So fortunately, books 1 and 2 on my search are fails. Maybe the next one will be better, but yeah. So that's Mad Kestrel by Misty Massie and Herald of the Storm by Richard Ford. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Feel free to check out these books if you want. Again, they're just not for me. Maybe they're for you. Who knows? That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.